Hello everyone, this is AJ. Now let me welcome you back to the channel, or let me welcome you to the channel if it's your first time visiting. Yeah, AJ's Movie Place. Now recently, because we have the Chucky TV series starting very soon, I thought that I'd revisit the films and review them and then do a ranking. So this here is my review for the third film in the Child's Play franchise. Let's talk about it. Okay, so Child's Play 3. Now this film came out in 1992 with a 15 certificate and a 90-minute runtime. The film is directed by Jack Bender, who has quite a very strong pedigree in directing. He's directed a lot of TV stuff after this. He's directed episodes of Alias with Jennifer Garner, episodes of the TV series Lost, Game of Thrones, Last Ship, Sopranos. These are all pretty big productions, pretty big TV series that he's been involved in. Now, this film stars Justin Whalin as Andy Barclay. Now, Justin Whalin you may know from Lois and Clark: New Adventures of Superman. He played Jimmy Olsen in series 2, 3 and 4. He swapped over the casting from season 1 when it was someone else, and they cast him from season 2 onwards. Perry Reeves stars as a character named De Silva. Jeremy Silvers as a character called Tyler. Travis Fiennes as Shelton. Andrew Robinson, famous in his own right within horror and with other stuff. Andrew Robinson plays Sergeant Botnick. Now, Andrew Robinson played Garak on Star Trek Deep Space Nine and has been in a lot of other stuff. And Dean Jacobson stars as a character called Whitehurst. Now, first of all, this film is written by Don Mancini again, who's written the past 2 Chucky films, and he goes on to write the others. So I haven't watched these films in some considerable time, and to watch 1, 2 and 3 back to back like I have been, it's wonderful to see how much connective tissue there is between one of these films running into the next, and the fact that you have this continuity from one to the next, like at the end of series episode 2 when Chucky dies, this film opens with sort of straight from that, almost, in that Chucky was killed and melted down in a toy factory at the end of the second one, and in this one you see this toy factory getting cleared up a considerable amount of time later. Everything's covered in cobwebs, and you see the Chucky doll melted down, a vice grips hold of him and the blood dribbles out. The blood, as he's picked up and carried away with this vice, the blood trickles into a vat of new melted plastic, and a new doll is formed out of this plastic with the blood of Chucky in it. And this is how Chucky returns, which I thought was really good, really interesting, such a great idea. It starts off with the return of a character from the second film who was the head of the company that creates the Chucky dolls, and he's given the Chucky doll as it's the first one off the assembly line. Obviously, this one is Charles Lee Ray, Chucky, and Chucky subsequently kills him, finds out where Andy is. Now we catch up with Andy Barclay 8 years later. This is 8 years after the second film, and Andy's been through foster parents, his mother's still locked up in psychiatric, and Andy is sent to a military school. So you have a completely different setting for this film than what you have in the previous films. So while they're in the military school, this is where the other characters are introduced. Now, Andrew Robinson as Sergeant Botnick plays a barber, the military barber within the film. Now, he's only in a couple of scenes, but boy, does he steal them scenes. He's fantastic in it. He's a real joy to watch in those scenes. Perry Reeves, De Silva, is the female interest for Andy in the film. Now, she's been there some time in the military school, but she wants to get out. She's doing everything she can to break out. She's not really scared of the authority or of anyone. She's quite a sort of well-rounded individual who's very capable at a lot of things. Jeremy Silvers as Tyler. Now Tyler is a young child within the school, a lot younger, who's taken by the Chucky doll, and as in when I say taken, he's taken by the Chucky doll, and that he really likes the doll, and he thinks the doll wants to be his friend. Now he's the first one that Chucky reveals himself to, and because Chucky's in a new body, or Charles Lee Ray is in a new Chucky doll, it sort of starts the process over again. And he tells the young boy who he really is, and hopes to swap his soul into that body. We're introduced to Travis Fiennes, who's like the sort of bully on campus, the military. In the military school, he's one of the higher ups, one of the sort of sergeants who, bullies the other kids and gets them doing all the mean to them and all this sort of stuff. And then you have Dean Jacobson who befriends Andy Barclay, but he's a bit of a wimp and he's picked on a lot, especially by Shelton. Yeah, so the story for the film is, essentially that Chucky's on site. He wants to get the soul, his soul, into the young boy Tyler, to take over his body. So the film is very competently directed. The direction in this film is far superior to the first and the second. Although this film's budget was only $13 million, the same as the last film, it felt far more. It was used more competently. The film's setting, the way it's shot, the camera angles, all feel far superior. Although this film does get a bad rap. Now here in the UK, this film is quite. It's got a bad history, which I'll come into towards the end of this video. I feel that the score in the film was very good, and at times played to the film's strengths and helped you to convey what's going on and the scares and that you should be feeling. The film, like I said, it was competently shot. The acting is fine. There's nothing that stands out as particularly bad acting. Maybe the very beginning scene when they're in the sort of conference room of the board of the toy company, it sort of harks back to the second film. But once you get into the military school, everything seems pretty good. It's all pretty fun. The special effects for the Chucky doll, again, each film seems to have an improvement in the movements and the way the doll, the facial movements of the doll, and here it's no exception. It does feel like they've taken a step further with this. Obviously Brad Dourif voices Chucky again, and he's fantastic. This is where you start to see more of a sense of humour within the doll. This is where the character's growth starts coming in, and he starts enjoying the kills a lot more. I mean, I'm not saying he didn't enjoy the kills in the last ones, but here that he relishes. He it's a vocal relish in his voice that he loves doing what he's doing. He's amusing, and this is what's great about this sort of character, like Chucky and Freddy. In my mind, they have a step up over characters like Jason Voorhees or Mike Myers, because they are literally a character. They are written, they speak, they act, they've got a personality. Whereas Mike Myers and Jason Voorhees are just killing machines that don't stop. But Freddy and Chucky, they have vocalizations, they have words, they crack jokes, and this is where you start seeing it with Chucky. Now the film's final set piece takes it out of. I step back a bit. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. There's some fantastic kills in this film, and there's a wonderful scene where the boys are playing war games at night. Only Chucky has decided to swap out some of their paintballs for live rounds, and you can imagine what that causes. The finale of the film ends up in a close by fairground and into a sort of House of Horrors roller coaster ride, and it's fantastic. It looks fantastic. It's shot really well, and it's brilliantly done. Now, back in the early 90s, we had an incident in the UK where two young boys of the age of 10 had kidnapped and taken a 2-year-old toddler out of a shopping centre and subsequently killed this 2-year-old, James Bulger. Now, the media, the tabloid media, got a hold of the fact that the kids that had committed the murder, that one of their stepfathers had rented this film sometime before, and the film was out on VHS on rental at the time, and the media jumped on it that it was the horror films that had caused this, so let's blame the horror films, let's ban the horror films, let's go and burn your copies of films. All this sort of stuff came about in the media, all this sort of stupid stuff. Subsequently, this film, Child's Play 3, got withdrawn from the shelves. It was taken off, effectively banned. I don't want to use the word banned, but effectively that's what happened. It was withdrawn. It did make a reappearance several years later, and its rating had been jumped from a 15 up to an 18 at this point. So yeah, quite a sort of sordid history for this film within the UK. Now, obviously, any advertising is good advertising, so they say. So in the effects of, you had Child's Play 3 plastered all over the tabloid newspapers like the Mirror and the Sun, and thusly this just made more people want to watch the film. So yeah, now I enjoyed this one. I did. Like I said, I start to see the connective tissue more. The fact that you have Don Mancini writing one into the next, you get these sort of plot points that carry through. There's, you're not getting a different director, or you're getting a different director, sorry, but you're not getting a different writer on each film doing their own thing. You've got the same person behind this series. He's behind it all the way through, and he's involved in the TV series. He's not involved in the remake film, but in the TV series that's coming up, he's involved in that as well. So that's going to be a real sort of continuation of this story. So anyway, so a very positive review from me. I did enjoy this one. I enjoyed the aesthetic, the location, the setting. It felt more lively. It felt more expertly shot, in a sense. So big thumbs up for me. I really did like this one a lot. People might say differently. Let them say what they want. It's an opinion. It's my opinion. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching, joining. Now, remember, in the next couple of days, maybe even tomorrow, I will be uploading the next one, the next part of this review series, and I will be reviewing the TV series weekly as the episodes drop. So if that interests you, then why don't you come over and hit the subscribe button and stick with me throughout this. Check out some of my other content as well, because there is quite a lot. Also, if you hit that notification bell, you will keep apprised of when these videos drop. Leave me a comment, and I will reply to all comments, and if you so wish, please give me a thumbs up. Always helps. But anyway, so this is AJ, and hopefully you'll come back to see the next episode, which will be Bride of Chucky. I'm looking forward to watching that one. I've got good memories of it. I remember it being a lot of fun. Let's see if it still hits me that way. Anyway, this is AJ. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, and goodbye.